Hi, and welcome to Safe Space. I'm your host, the Artistic Psychologist. This podcast aims to end the stigma surrounding mental health, one conversation at a time. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, welcome to another episode of Safe Space Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about stalking. We will have Lucy and Nicoleta on again to discuss the topic, but before we begin, I wanted to jump in with a few definitions, then we'll go to the discussion. So, a stalker is a person who harasses or persecutes someone with unwanted and obsessive attention. And stalking is a pattern of behavior carried out by one person against another, which is intended to harass, intimidate, or terrorize the victim, and usually does. So, according to research, an estimated 12 to 16% of women and up to 4 to 7% of men will be stalked in their lifetime. Now, unfortunately, the statistics may not be the most accurate, and this is because there's no universally agreed upon definition of what exactly stalking is. But this is the information that is out there at the moment. All these definitions and facts are from stalkingawareness.org. You can check them out for more information and to educate yourself. For now, let's get into the episode. Welcome back, ladies. I have Nicoleta and Lucy back on again. This time we're going to be talking about stalking. Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a background as to why I chose this topic. So I had a friend, well, they were my friend, and eventually, we fell off, something happened, I drew some boundary with them, I had to push them aside. But after that, they became my stalker. I'm really summarizing this story. They really started stalking me both online and in person, and it was such a mess for 2 years. It was constant phone calls. Like, my phone would never be silent. Every minute on the clock, my phone is ringing. And they would change numbers, call me on private, so there's nothing I could do. At first I blocked the number, that didn't help. So they're constantly calling me with different numbers, emailing me with different email addresses, commenting on my social media posts, things like that, like sending me such terrible text messages, both on my work line, my personal line, things like that. And it was very confusing for me because this was someone who was my friend. And then now I'm asking myself, why would they be doing, something like this? It was such a terrible experience. I'm always anxious about having my phone on, checking my email, because I know something will be there. Yeah. And they weren't sending me nice messages. It was insults, sometimes they'd send me such horrific pictures, horrific videos, things like that. And yeah, eventually, my sister is the one who told me, hey, this is not okay. We can't keep allowing this to happen. This is terrible behavior. This is somebody who knows what they're doing, and they're being very intentional about this. And so as we were trying to deal with that, I just thought to myself, yeah, actually people deal with stalking, and I don't know if we really talk about it much, but I think that stalking is a form of abuse, and something that maybe we should also talk about, so that if someone is in such a situation, they're aware that, yeah, this is not okay, and maybe I should get some help somehow. So to begin with, is stalking abuse? Is stalking abuse?
Yeah, I would say it's an abuse. Yeah, because this is harassment. And they emotionally harass you. I believe these people don't have the strength you have. And they know that you can become better, and it's like they want to suck your energy, and they know they can attack you from any angle. When it's come in the way you have talked about friends, when it's come to marriage, you don't have you time. They can walk in a meeting. I have a lady who talked about how she didn't know the difference between this toxic and stalking, where you are in a conference in Mombasa, then someone tells you your partner is here. You don't have your space. It happens mostly because the other person feels like they don't want you to move They want to make you get stuck in one position. Could be that's why you also went through that. Yeah, they could have wanted to pull you down, but you chose to move and push yourself. And it's not easy to tell, because mostly comes from the they can do calling, they can send you emails, they can just appear where you are. You it's like a thief. You don't know when they are going to come. Now you keep tiptoeing with your life, with your relationship, because you don't know who they can use. They also employ people to follow you. Yeah, it's a very bad space. It's an abuse, more emotionally. It's very draining. Yeah.
Lucy, do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to add that stalking initially was referred to as psychological harassment. I don't know, the harassment degenerates into abuse, but the fact that you're being harassed by this individual then makes you uncomfortable, and as Nicoleta says, drains you. There's also a sense of fear. And of course, the person stalking is obsessed with you. And I think that obsession is the scary bit, because you don't know what they will do. Maybe I've watched too many movies, but...
No, you're very correct. The fear is what I remember, like, very vividly. Because, there was a point, even if somebody was to ask me, like, oh, maybe where is your office located? I don't want to tell them, because I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're coming. No, I don't know if you're being sent by this person. I don't know if you're this person actually and you're coming. So you just don't want to say anything. There are times you're out and you're constantly like looking around, trying to figure out, is this person here? Could they do anything? And you're right about the obsession as well. I think for me, this person actually told me, one time they sent me a message telling me, I'm obsessed with you. And I was like, no, that's scary. Someone who's obsessed with you can do anything. It's really scary. So nowadays, I think someone can stalk you both like in person and then digitally. Yeah. Is there any difference between the effects of physical and technological stalking? Do you think? Yes,
Yeah.
Nicoleta?
Physical, they are there telling you, you will not do this, you will not amount to this. They are just following you up. Where are you? Who are you with? You happen to close yourself in the room. They want to just break the door and walk in. It's more, you can feel there's a lot of fear, because they can also become physical if you're not careful, because they want to push you. Yeah. Then when it is digital, many people there, you have your phone, someone tapped your messages. If you're in a marriage, someone put a gadget in your car, you will never talk with anyone. You fear to communicate. You cannot talk to your people. So I had a client who would tell me, even an M-Pesa, it would be sent through a friend. I can't receive money. If a friend, she had to confine with a friend, for any phone call so and so, and walk to her compound and she will share. This person will come in and pick your phone and tell you the next 1 week you'll not have your phone. It's a total emotional abuse where you don't know your place in the relationship. Yeah.
Lucy, anything to add?
I think both have adverse effects. And then considering nowadays we're in the digital space a lot. So if you can imagine, someone is on your IG, someone is on your Facebook, someone is on anywhere, phone calls, that is scary, because you don't know what they're picking up. And then of course, every time a message comes through, even if you say you won't, you see instantly, you look at it, you've already read what is there. Yeah. So it goes and sits somewhere, and of course it has an effect on you. So I think it's both. It's just that the physical one, you're always scared about your life. And then for the digital one, you don't know whether it will transcend from digital to now physical. Yeah. So you're constantly on edge.
Okay. Would you say technology has increased stalking in any way? Like the social media, has it increased the instances of stalking for people?
I was thinking about this conversation. And I just thought, my friends and I say we'll stalk that person online.
Yeah.
Okay, stalking as we know it, the bad one. But then there's also the stalking. You have a crush on someone.
You check everything.
You check. You're 16, and you just want to know where is he hanging out, what is he doing, who was he with, and that one, it's understandable so long as it doesn't get into obsession. Yeah. So a little bit, maybe we're using the wrong term, but we tend to say, I'm in love with this person, so I'm stalking that person. I need to know what they're doing, what they're up to.
Yeah.
I've even forgotten the question because I thought about.
No, I was asking if technology has. Do you think technology has increased stalking?
Yes, it's made it worse because now if I want to get you, so long as I know your account name or whatever handle you use, I can follow you and get to see what you do, where you are at. And I guess that's why we advise people that just be careful about what you post, because that digital print can get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Nicoleta, anything to add?
Yeah, I believe it has added a lot because, you can't sue anyone. Yeah, there's no way you can be able to pick someone from the social media and accuse them, Now, because we also have so many other social tags like the way Facebook and all this, and you see for the young ones, they don't know what they are posting. Something like that can be used many years down the line. We have seen people losing seats because someone just picked something you commented, and maybe it was taken out of the context and it was thrown back to you. I think it's really affecting, especially people who are great readers. You need to clean up your mess. You can imagine as a teenager, as a youth, you didn't know who you would become. Then people can pick that and use against you.
Yeah. I think also a lot of young people are told these days, like, don't share your location, don't constantly put on your location. There's an experiment that was done. I don't remember where I saw this, where someone was going around just posting random pictures, not even like identifying things, maybe something as random as like the sky and whatever it is, and people were able to identify exactly where they were just from something so simple like, oh yeah, I saw the corner of that building, that's there in town. I saw this flag over there, that's over there in wherever it is. So I think these days people can find you like very, very easily, and that is scary. Yeah, so be careful what you're posting and what you're doing. If somebody has a mental health diagnosis, like they're diagnosed with something, would that make it easier for them to either become obsessed with someone, to become a stalker? Yeah, is that a possibility at all? Maybe you can start with you, Lucy.
Yes, it is. Sometimes someone may be ill, or someone who is ill may just get obsessed with one person. Even for children, let me talk about children like who are on the spectrum. If they love one person, if they meet you and they fall in love with you, that's an obsession they will have. So if as this adult continues to grow, whatever mental challenges they may have, they may actually stalk an individual. It could even be an individual like their personal doctor, their personal therapist, and they follow them around. And it's very, very scary because you don't know what might happen. And so as a professional, if you notice that, then you need to report to the authorities so that they're not just arrested and thrown into the cell, but it's time for treatment to help them. Yeah.
Okay. Nicoleta, anything to add to that?
As Lucy was talking, I remembered there was a child who was possessed with their house manager. The minute she's not in that house, you need to call her back. Parent would feel like she's in love with the house manager, but that's an obsession. There's no way you you replace your parents with this other person who comes in at home. You also find those people who get into a terminally ill condition. Maybe it's, or you got a stroke. And it can happen at any age. And this person was not emotionally stable. They would trust themselves and not trust the partner. What happens when you want to leave them and they know that they are dependent now? They want to destabilize your day. They'll keep calling and checking on you. You cannot enjoy your space. And if being a caregiver, what happens? You get overwhelmed. And sometimes you want to switch off your phone, not because you are doing something negative, because you need that space. Even now, you're here. Someone would check on you. Now, the minute you get online, you find 50 calls and you're wondering, what has happened? I was just checking on you. And you're like, It's not easy. It can happen, and especially when you have someone who depend on you when they are not dependent.
What's the best way to deal with such a person? I mean, you've mentioned maybe calling the authorities and getting them some help. Are there any other ways to deal with that?
I think therapy would work. Bringing the realization of whatever you're doing, it's affecting the family. And I want to give an example here. When I had a client who was very far, he was in diaspora, one of the good countries everyone would want to go, and he would monitor the family with a CCTV. And I had to let him know, this has made this lady to hate you. She's emotionally detached because she feels suffocated in this. And every time a friend would come, he wants them to sit in a particular corner. And every time she felt overwhelmed because the calls were not calling to check how you are with the kids. It's about, why are you not showing this child this homework? Why are you not? Why? So many why questions. And you tell them, the more you push her, the more she will withdraw. The more she feel like she does not need this marriage. Then one thing is, are you able to be emotionally stable and you pull this system? You are dealing with an adult who can take care of the family. Trust her with wherever she goes and whoever she meets and taking care of these children. Is it easy? It will not be easy. This person will be living in the mind all the time. If they can be able to persevere a day, tomorrow and a future will come, they'll be able to come out from this.
And for Lucy, how, if you notice that a child is getting obsessed with someone, are there any particular ways to help with that?
No, for children like who are on the spectrum, it's understandable. Because they need an object that they can relate to. So the important thing is that this person is their safe space. But then stalking in terms of the workplace, that needs to be reported. I think we underestimate the dangers of being stalked. So it's important to keep a record of all the messages, how many phone calls in a day, and then just make an official report so that in case anything happened to you, then there's somewhere they can trace. But we tend to they'll get over it. Yeah. No, they won't get over it.
They won't get over it.
They won't. They are stuck. So they need a jolt of some sort.
That's an important note. Keep tabs of what's happening, the messages, the emails, the calls, all of that, because that now can be used as evidence when you're reporting the incidences. What kind of effects can stalking have on someone's mental health and overall well-being? You've already mentioned some, I think, before, but you can mention some more. Nicoleta?
Low self-esteem. Fear. And not believing in yourself, because you don't know when someone can just bring an explosion on you. A lot of tiptoeing, because you don't know where. If you walk in a mall, you don't know whether you'll find this person there. And this, you can't trust the journey of this. You keep feeling like, I have enabled this problem. I need to come out, until the way we said an awareness is brought. If someone have a support system, you can come out and the person will not do anything. we all belong to the state. People didn't need to know that. We all belong to the state, and unless someone decides to kill you and kill themselves, we can get protected by the state. Yeah.
Okay. Lucy, anything to add?
I think one of the other greatest effects is socially, because then you're also scared of going to public spaces. So you stay at home. You're missing out on what is happening, whether it's a wedding or just a get-together of friends or family, because you're not too sure this person will show up. And then now, if your social life is curtailed, you're staying at home, then you're losing out also on significant relationships, or just that burst of energy that you get when you go out. And it's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't fair, that's true. At what point would you say that someone could be able to point out and be like, okay, this is now too much, I need to do something about it? Is it like at the very beginning? Do you give it some time? You're like, okay, maybe 2 months down the line, or is it with the intensity? What would you say?
Pauline.
Yes.
Within 24 hours, if you've called me 10, 15 times, there's a problem.
Yeah.
A big 2 months, you might be dead.
Yes.
So you can tell. It's not as if you missed a call, and I try once more and then I just let it or send a message. But if someone within 24 hours is incessantly calling, texting, emailing you, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Even when you have a crush on someone, that's not how you behave.
No, that's not healthy.
You try to show like there are no feelings here, even if you want to call, So for me, 24 hours.
Yeah. Nicoleta, anything?
I think I would say the same. When someone just fragged you, there's so much obsession and love. Yeah, I was before you came. Give me a place where I don't feel like you're hanging around, Yeah, these people keep checking on you, like the hack I'll do. If you call me 10 times, I will not pick your call. Avoid, don't see it like this is part of the love they have for you. Get to differentiate the two. We need to have something we call, we don't need to be like children, they eat pressure where I want and I want it now. We need to have a space where we can be able to be content with who we are. And getting to know this person, they had their life before I came in. I need to respect. When you come in, you say, this is what I do, this is what you do. I work from this time to this time. Get to know. I will not call you all the time. I've gotten to work. I'm taking lunch. I'm not reporting. But some people start thinking, and especially if you came from abusive relationship, you start feeling like this person cares a lot. People confuse it with caring. It's not caring. They want to suffocate you until now you lose their focus.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think the reason I ask that is because many times when you're reporting something, they always want they tell you give it this amount of time, then we'll see it as a problem. Not even if, let's say, someone is missing, they tell you give us at least 24 hours, then we can say this person is missing and we look for them. And even if you know for sure something is wrong, they're not going to do anything about it. So sometimes you're like caught in the middle of that, which is, it's unfortunate. But yeah, like you said, you can tell when something is wrong, so you take action as soon as you can. Any last words on stalking?
If someone is obsessed with someone and they seem not to know how to control themselves, then I would advise them to seek help. Therapy. Though sometimes I wonder, are they aware?
Are they aware? Yeah,
that this is what they're doing. They might not be aware, but you who is being stalked, I think it's important to report so that you're just safe. Yeah.
Okay, Nicoleta.
And for that person who is aware, I don't like this. Yesterday I talked to someone and she told me, I don't want this. And I was telling her, take your power back. Let the person get to know this is where I can have drawn my line up to here. I'm not ready to move from this. Because if you're not, you don't know how to say yes and no. The entitlement comes and they feel superior. They pull you down. It's when you find this is not going well, and you can tell even from inside, I'm not liking this. Point it out. We have fear of disappointing the other person. Let them get angry, but you're very clear with yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Short and sweet conversation.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot again. It's been very enlightening. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I've appreciated having you both. It's been an amazing conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Thanks for listening to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to Safe Space Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. And we'll see you next time. I'll leave the details for Lucy and Nicoleta in the description so that if anybody wants to, they can reach out to you for sessions. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.